Hello, welcome to another vibe coding session. So tonight is a little bit special because we're going to be building our personal home on the internet. And for me, for a long time, that's been my personal website, louisbocage.com. I actually hand coded that a while back using something called the Bootstrap CSS framework. It is a very simple website, but unfortunately, it doesn't do very much. And I've had to rely on a lot of third-party services and things like that to sort of glue it together. And it's worked fine up until now, but now we have vibe coding. And so because we have vibe coding, we could actually build a home on the internet that is a lot more intricate, that kind of connects to everything and knows everything about us and is readily available and doesn't cost a whole lot to run. So now there's a lot of ways that people do this. I mean, look, I have used things like Ghost, and Ghost is actually quite good. We are going to replicate a good chunk of what Ghost does and then add some more tonight in this session. And I show you how easy this is to do actually now. But people are paying for, link in bio tools. I've done that as well. People are paying because it sort of tracks your analytics and gives you more advanced sort of functionality. We will be tracking analytics on our own. We'll do first-party analytics on our own app tonight. And so we won't use Google Analytics or pay for Fathom Analytics or any of these like third-party services. We'll build our own, right into our own site. And we'll track our emails. So we'll import emails from different places. So if we've got a newsletter on Substack, we'll import that and centralize it. We will import customer lists from Stripe or wherever you have them, and any other place that you've captured emails. It'd be nice to have them in one place, and also to be able to email them if you have a new product coming out or something of that nature. So this will be your central sort of place on the internet, and you could expand it and hook it up to all kinds of things. I'll be hooking mine up to YouTube since I've started this YouTube channel. I'd like for my videos to automatically show up on my personal site. I would like for, because it does get traffic, right? So people are curious about me. Maybe they click on my profile on Twitter or whatever, and they go to my site. And it would be nice if they saw that I have a YouTube channel. It'd be nice if they saw that I have a newsletter, and maybe we could do email capture in this thing. So we could do all these things that normally people would pay like a convert kit, or they'd pay some third-party services a bunch of money to do, and we're going to do all of that with vibe coding, and we're going to get it all deployed tonight. Real quick, let me just summarize again what we'll be building, but we're going to be following a pattern tonight that I've followed in all of my videos, which is we use this vibe coding loop is what I call it, which is basically this: we have an idea, we're going to build our personal home on the internet. So maybe we have things like projects on GitHub or web apps that we've built. We want to be able to highlight all of that in one place. So we have this idea, and then what we're going to do is we're going to write out a really nice prompt so that we can get a good PRD. And a PRD, for my friends that are non-technical, it stands for product requirement document, and basically all it's doing is it's spelling out concisely in a non-ambiguous way, meaning things can only go in one direction. There isn't 2 or 3 ways to do the same thing because we're spelling it out. So we are going to generate this PRD that we are going to use with the AI to build our app, which tonight is our personal home on the internet. But following this process of idea to prompt to PRD is actually super useful. It will increase the odds that the output, that your vibe coding session won't be a dud, that the output of the AI will be incredible, and that you will get what you want out of the AI. So we will follow this pattern. I've been doing this pattern all the time, and I've spelled out a bunch of things here that I kind of want on my personal site. You may want different things, and I have actually created a prompt. So this is the prompt that I'm going to use to get my PRD. Now this prompt is long. Yours might be shorter because you might not. I have quite the internet presence. I've tried everything on the internet. So I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm on LinkedIn. I have a Substack. I've got projects on GitHub. I've got apps out there. I've got all kinds of things. And so I want all of that to be aggregated in one place. I want all of that to be integrated via APIs if they have them. I want to be able to use an LLM to summarize. So if we're pulling in one of my open source projects, I want the LLM to just write the description, to just, make it really easy for me to, every time a public repo goes up on my site, like I want it to just show up on my personal site. All these little things, okay? Now that we might have to iterate a little bit to get the AI to give us that, but we are going to start with this really great prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this prompt, and I'm going to go ahead and ask ChatGPT to generate the PRD with this prompt. So we're going to read this prompt. So I'm going to go to ChatGPT here. I'm going to paste the prompt just like I do every time when we're building one of these apps. And so all the prompt says is very simply, I would like to create a personal website similar to what a link in bio app may contain, but totally custom just for me. It should connect to various online resources and highlight different things about me. For example, my GitHub with some open source projects, my YouTube channel that I recently started, my Substack newsletter, and a few articles from there. My digital products out there on Gumroad and other places. Games and apps I've built, I don't know, dunscards.com and many others. My Twitter and LinkedIn, take the best post from there. I can add them manually if it makes things easier. Okay, so maybe we don't want to integrate with everything because it might be quite a bit, but like some of these things we're going to want to integrate. And so my YouTube channel I recently added, it would be cool if I could add each new video as it came out onto the site. My Substack newsletter and a few articles from there. Highlight the best ones and maybe always show the latest one. Okay, so these are, going to get translated to a nice PRD that Claude Code or Codex CLI could rely on to build this app for us. So we want to use a very simple tech stack. So again, every night I've been using the same tech stack so far. It is a good tech stack and it is simple, and the AIs have been trained on this tech stack like crazy. So we're using Node on the back end. We're going to use Tailwind 3.4. We're not going to use the latest version where it's going to get lost in the latest version and we're going to have to fix all kinds of things. And we're going to use SQLite. And between these three technologies, it should be able to do everything for us. And again, it's a simple but powerful tech stack that could be easily deployed to a $5 private server hooked up to Cloudflare. And for $5 a month, we could have a service just for ourselves that is superior to probably anything we could pay for. So we want a simple admin panel that tracks who visits. So this is the first party analytics basic. Let's just write that out. So basic first party analytics. And I will share this exact prompt with you in the description of this video. And you can, of course, tweak it, and you should tweak it because you might not have all these, you might have different places. You might have like, I don't know, a Pinterest account, or you might have different things you care about, and that's totally fine. You should highlight that. So we want email capture and the ability to do giveaways. For example, give away one of my products if someone leaves their email to subscribe to my newsletter. We want to be able to send emails and import emails from Substack, Gumroad. Let's add Stripe via CSV. And we want to be able to email them about upcoming events or products. And we can use Mailgun to do the send. So I'm using Mailgun. I already paid for a subscription, but you could use SendGrid. You could use any email sending service that you want if you want to be sending emails from your personal site. Mailgun is kind of cheap. I don't know that it's the best one, but it's the one that I've been using for a while, and so that's what I've got. But you could use Simple Mail. There's so many different ones, and just pick the one that works best for you there. And then we do want, please make sure that we have an LLM to summarize long text into 1 to 3 sentence blurbs. For example, we may want our GitHub open source project to be quickly summarized by an LLM. Let us integrate with OpenAI for this, since I have some free credits. You can use your own. You could use your own LLM. You could use a different provider. So if you don't want to use OpenAI, if it's too expensive, you could use Gemini. You could use Anthropic. It doesn't matter basically. I'm using OpenAI again because I have sort of free credits. But that doesn't matter so much. This is just some simple language about what we want in our analytics dashboard. That looks really great. Also, we want to tag where imported emails came from. So email, Substack, Gumroad, and site if someone subscribes from this site. Tag special users, and if in recorded they received a free thing or what they bought from us. And this will be end-to-end, all in one personal home on the internet we fully own and deploy to a VPS. We don't have to worry about deployment for now. We'll handle that later. Okay, so I will cover that manually later in the end of this video, but we will be deploying this as well. But keep this in mind as you write the PRD. And then say one more thing here. So I do have a personal website. So if I go to it, you could see it. So I have a landing page copy that I could use. You may want to provide it with some landing page copy, like a little bit about you, who are you, so that it could add that to the PRD as well. So I'm going to really quickly say I already have an old, pretty much static personal website, but it has some nice images, places I've been featured in, podcasts, newsletters, and it has a nice about me and bio. I would like for you to pull those images and reuse that landing page copy because it works. Nothing wrong with it. And I do have this website locally, so you can look at it as a reference and copy over the images. So I have this. If you have a personal website, that's great. If you don't, that's okay. Just instead of saying this, just say what you want. So my name is so and so. This is a bio about me. Leave a placeholder for me to put an image of me and all that stuff, and it will do that. So I do have it. So let me just also give it the location locally. So location, the web app you can reference during the build is here. Okay. We will say, go ahead and generate that PRD. Now this is going to take a couple of seconds. Now look, we are 13 minutes into this video, and basically up until this point, we have spent a lot of time crafting a really nice prompt so that we can get a PRD document. We haven't actually started building yet, but with AI, building is the easy part. It could spit out thousands of lines of code very quickly. And in order to make sure that code is not junk, we do our due diligence up front, and we end up following this process, right? This vibe coding loop, as I call it. So we spend time because this is what we control, right? So in a lot of ways, the AI is this imperfect compiler that's taking in English and spitting out an app for us. So in order to fine tune that, we want our English to be as close to precision, we lose a lot in precision when we use English for programming. And so because of that, we want to be as close as possible to what we want. So we don't waste our time. So the AI doesn't create something that we don't want, that we're not happy with it. And so we are literally 15 minutes into this video. And up until this point, all we've done is figure out what our inputs are for the AI. And that's because that's what we control. We control this portion of it fully. Once it starts building, we don't control that. And we don't want to be spending time editing AI code. AI code is verbose. There are going to be thousands of lines of code in this thing. We don't want to be fixing that. We want that to be accurate on the first go. So for that to be accurate on the first go, we are going to get good at the thing that we control, which is our idea, the way we describe it, our PRD, which is what the AI is thinking that we want. And then finally, we will let it build. And when it builds, it's going to do a good job. And it's going to do a good job because we have spelled it out. We've spelled everything out. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit because this is going to take a few minutes and I don't want to waste time. But I'm basically not going to do anything. I'm just going to wait for this to finish. All right, so here we go. We have our PRD that we will use to build this thing. Now this is quite detailed. So the very first thing we will do is what we do every time. We will not copy this from here and use it as is. We will take this and actually put it into a Google Doc, okay? So we will go here and type in doc.new, and we will paste in this PRD, and we will title it Personal Internet Home PRD. It's not a great name, but it is what it is. And so I will just quickly read through it. It looks like it's pretty good. So there's 20 pages, so there's a lot to read through. We will at least skim it. Normally, if I wasn't doing this on a video, I might spend a little bit more time with the PRD. But I think is going to do a good job. That prompt that we used was on point. The core values: ownership, content list, analytics, design, infrastructure, live on your VPS, simplicity, build less front end, minimal libraries. I love all of this so far. Automation, fetch the latest YouTube video, Substack post, looks great. So present a clean landing page, reusing copy and image from the legacy static site. So this is me. You could have provided this yourself. You could provide that yourself. Maybe you have your own personal site, and that would be a good place to start. My personal site doesn't have a back end. We are about to get like a really cool back end out of this. There's a visitor, there's an admin. This is great. Information, videos, products. I think that all looks good. So look, this is why it's called vibe coding. We're going to ask the AI. It's cheaper now to ask the AI to build it and see what we get than to try to edit this whole thing. But it's good to take a quick look just to make sure that it is what we want. To me, it looks good. Now, we're going to do something a little different tonight. Normally, I use Claude Code to build these types of apps. But there's a new entrant in town. Codex CLI is a very powerful competitor to Claude Code now. So I've actually already built this app with Claude Code off camera, and I will be comparing the outputs that Claude Code gave me to what Codex can build for us. And so I will actually be building this using Codex CLI right here in VS Code. So VS Code is a free software you can just download. Codex CLI is a plugin, a free plugin. You could just go to the plugins here and you could just search Codex CLI on VS Code, and it's probably just Codex because CLI is. So I'm going to go ahead and restart that extension because it looks like it had an update as we were, and it's only got 3.5 stars. People are really brutal, but it is good. It is actually really good. I've already used it to build some things. And so the way this works is it comes with your ChatGPT subscription. So if you have a ChatGPT subscription, this is already gonna work. And I'm doing it this way, but you could very easily take this exact same PRD and give it to Claude Code as well. Let's go ahead and open up the folder that we'll be working in. So with VS Code, you open up a folder. If you're using this via terminal, this would work a little bit differently. So I've got this version here, V2, like I mentioned. VS Code comes with some junk here. We don't care about this Microsoft agent. We're not going to be using that. So we've got our OpenAI one here, and you sign in with your ChatGPT subscription, your personal account, and it should work. We are in an empty folder right now, just to show you. There's nothing here. So we are going to tell this guy Codex to build this app for us. So we've got our entire PRD. So you are going to build this for me. Go ahead and get started. So before it does that, before I hit enter there, we will just expand this a little bit, and we will make sure that we've got a couple of things ticked here. So I'm going to say agent full access because I'm working on an empty folder. I don't really care if it breaks things in there. There's nothing in there that is going to break. And there are a few different model types we can select from with Codex. So I will be selecting the GPT-5 Codex High. This is their best model for this sort of thing. At least that's what they say. We will find out as this thing starts building. But again, I will be comparing this output to something what Claude Code can do. And after this is all done, I will also be deploying this to a $5 VPS. And I will have a new home on the internet that isn't my current website, which is a very static website that I have to manually update every time. It will be a fully integrated website. So I will hit enter here, and I've just got to allow it to connect to the internet because I have some software that blocks things from connecting randomly to the internet. That's a thing on my side. You won't have that. So instantiating a repository, exploring files, checking for hidden files, outlining the multi-step plan. So I like it. So it's thinking. So this is going to take a while, okay? It's going to start working here. We will see files start popping up. It has got a master plan here, 6 tasks that it's going to go through. And this GPT-5 Codex, like from experience so far, it could run for 30 minutes straight building your thing without, if you set it to full access and you set it to high, it won't ask you for anything. It will just go and do it. If you are concise, if you spell everything out. If you don't, then it won't do such a good job and you will be disappointed. So we've already spelled everything out. We've done that legwork up front. So I expect a good output here. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit because I don't think we need to, it's not going to be asking me for anything. It is literally just going to go ahead and start building here. So it's already created the basic template of the web app or whatever, and it is going to start filling it in as per the PRD. Again, in the description of this video, I will have the prompt that I used, so you can take that and alter it. I will have the PRD that we got, so you can take that as well and use it if you want to. I mean, of course, it's very custom to me, but I would recommend you make some small changes to it based off of where your online presence is. And it will have these integrations. So at the end, when it's done, I'm sure I'll have to enter API keys for OpenAI so that it could use the LLM to summarize things. I will probably have to specify what my YouTube channel is and all these things. So we'll see what happens when it's done with all 6 of its tasks. But I assume all of that will happen. You should assume that it's going to end up doing the same when you build your personal home. But that's the easy part. Like basically, if you need to find out where an API key is, you could just ask Claude Code, or you could just ask Codex, how do I pull up the API key for OpenAI or for YouTube or whatever it is that you're integrating with? And it is going to tell you. So anyway, let's let it build and let's see where we are in a couple minutes. I'm just going to fast forward here again. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm not going to manually tweak anything. We're just literally going to fast forward so we don't have to sit. And it looks like the first task is already done, so that's really good. All right, so Claude, I'm so used to Claude Code. I really do love Claude Code. Codex is coming up and we have to give it a shot. Anyway, so it's done and it was running for a while with its 6 steps. And it looks like we are, let's read what it finished. So implemented the Express Bootstrap with security middleware, static delivery, CSRF protection, admin router, global error handling, admin auth. I didn't ask for a lot of this, but that's okay. That's good. Laid down the SQLite schema plus, I like that it said laid down. Plus, it's trying to be hip. Next thing it's going to say is like, I cooked up. It started cooking. Set up the settings, delivered the integration to GitHub, YouTube, Substack, Mailgun, Analytics, summarize it in CSV import. All normalizing remote data straight into the items and subscriber tables. Okay. Built out public and admin interfaces. Okay, look, it looks good. npm run seed. So the thing we've got to do is to test it, we've got to do npm run seed. Okay, let's open up a new terminal. So VS Code can have its own terminal, just any other, just like you have on your Mac or command line that you have on Windows. And it says that it ran seed.js. Database already up to date. It seeded the database. Okay, so this is what it told me to run to test it. The next steps, copy your legacy assets into legacy. So I want you to do that. Okay, so 1 second. So I'm going to give it the folder. Let me find the folder. I'm going to say copy images from this place. All right, so I'm actually telling it to get the images from my old site. Okay, again, my old site, just so you understand what I'm telling it to do here. You don't have to do this, right? If you have the pictures of you on your computer, I would use those. I'm just telling it for convenience to use this stuff because I already have it. So I'm telling it where it is on my computer here. This is my old Bootstrap version of my site. I'm also telling it to get the settings for the environment file from there. These are API key settings, and I will tell it to go ahead and do that. So it's going to go look over there, do some work, copy some things. Hopefully it can do that. I don't know if it can copy from a different directory. It should be able to. Claude Code can with permission. So, yep, it's exploring everything in there. And it should be able to copy over all of the images. And what else do I want it to take? So I did tell it to use the admin settings page to enter GitHub Substack handles and trigger the fetch buttons. Okay, that's fine. When ready to email, add Mailgun credentials. So I'm telling it to do all of that. I'm telling it to find from my old site. Some of this I'll obviously have to do when the site is running. And let's see. Hopefully it won't blurt out my API keys out here in this. That happened the other night with the other web app, but that's all right because you could always change API keys, so no big deal if it does blurt them out here. But we do want to be able to get this to a point where we can test it. And so even if we have to give it a proper API key so we could run our tests and then change it later. I'm totally fine with that. Basically, it's a small price to pay for this ability to build this very powerful web app in a matter of an hour, right? And of course, I was waiting around for it for about 10 good minutes, maybe actually a little bit more, while it was creating all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in my API key so I'm just going to like set an admin token, and I'm going to paste in my OpenAI API key. I'm going to fast forward for 1 second while I do that. All right, so I pasted in my OpenAI API key, these other things as well. And let's see now, how do I run this? Okay, normally it's just npm start or something, but I'm just gonna pretend I'm a total noob. And once it's already in place, npm install, okay, which I think everything's fine. npm run seed. Oops, I did that out of order. npm run migrate, npm run seed, okay, and then npm start. Okay, so npm start. So we are on port 3000, okay? If I go here and I go to localhost and port 3000, I get an error right away. Okay, what's in this error? Okay, this is fine. I would expect, so we've got the error on our server, so that's good. And oops, so I'm literally just gonna paste in the error and say, hey, what is this? That's the beauty of AI. You can just yell at it and say, after the poor bastard spent a whole bunch of time doing this work for us, we're gonna yell at it and say, fix this crap. And so anyway, let's see what we got. So we're gonna run it again, npm start. I restarted that server. And okay, all right, look at this. It's not terrible. It's not bad. Engineer, founder, builder. Welcome to the hub for everything I'm building. Articles, videos, podcasts. So it's not bad. It's I do like the dark theme, okay? So if I go to projects, so I'm assuming I will have to add my projects here. I'm assuming it's not just picking them up. The videos, it is not picking them up. The newsletter, it is not picking it up by itself. But let's see. I will go into so since I already have language for this stuff and I already have images, I wanted to use that stuff, and let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to go back to so I'm going to close that up. I'm going to say use this stuff, okay? So it seems like you didn't use my index from the legacy app. Was it my index page copy my about me blurb the way I want that, my image that I have there front and center, you from my legacy app. You also did not copy over my longer about me page. Please get that stuff in. And I do have, I'm going to give it a location as well. 1 second. So the location. Otherwise, it does not look too bad. It is just a little generic, not really about me. It should be about me. After all, it is my home on the internet. Okay, hombre, let's get this done, man. Come on, Codex, don't let me down. So Codex is doing not a bad job. I'm not I mean, you know, it's very generic, right? So let's go back to the localhost 3000. So 5000 is a different app. I've been doing a lot of coding. This isn't bad. So if I go to /admin, I would assume that's where it's set up, the admin flow. So this is not pretty, but this is where the admin token is. So I'm going to pull that up real quick. So I got that token. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And so the token is actually just in the environment file for the admin dashboard. And you know, this does not look bad. Content, email, okay. It's got the email sending. I could do giveaways. Look, I'm not like upset with it. I'm using GPT-4.1 mini, which kind of sucks, but It's not terrible, okay? It is a decent start, put it that way. Is it tracking clicks and stuff? It does not seem like our analytics is working properly yet. So we'll tell it to fix all of that, but it is still working. By the way, when I ran this through Claude Code, because I have a lot of integrations, because I'm pulling in data from GitHub, from my YouTube, from all these places, it is gonna take some iterating, right? So that's why our process over here for vibe coding is ID up PRD, build, test, and iterate, right? So we are going to get this nailed down to exactly what we want. We are in a decent place. I don't like this AI purple though. You know, I will tell it to change that a little bit. I'm not a big fan of the AI purple. I also don't like all this, like this quick links, privacy policy, and some of the stuff in the bottom. I want to simplify that, but that's easy. That's just very easy. So so it looks like all of this stuff is actually in the database. It is totally configurable, and I am basically just asking it to basically change some of these things that it's setting here, which is cool that it's making them configurable. It's actually really cool because then I can change them at any point in time, but still I want it to be a little bit nicer. And also latest newsletter, latest video. This is not bad. I might leave that. You know, I think the featured in stuff should come over from the old site. Like the look and feel of the old site. I mean, honestly, I didn't mind the look and feel of the old site, the simplicity. So I might tell it like keep the dark theme, get rid of the purple, but keep the dark theme, get rid of the purple, and simplify it like the old site. So let's do that. So this isn't bad, but I do love the simplicity of the visitor-facing web app, of the visitor-facing website I had. And remember, this is like super simple. I coded this by hand. So if we go back to this, you can see that it is super simple. It's just some text, a few places I've been featured on. Actually, I had to figure this out, how to do this highlighting like this. It took me a little while because I'm not a front-end developer. I'm a back-end developer by trade. And it is, I do the simplicity and I want to keep things really simple, but I want more. I want essays I've written, newsletters, videos, GitHubs, all that. So this isn't bad, but I do love the simplicity of the visitor-facing website I had before. The difference is that was missing a ton of integrations. It only sort of listed some hard-coded newsletter articles. I would like to list the newsletter articles plus like 3 latest YouTube videos, 3 open source GitHub projects, plus 3 apps I want to feature, plus a few products. Well, apps I think is fine. You know, products we don't need. Plus 3 apps I want to feature. Plus, I don't know what else. Maybe 3 social media posts. 3 of my latest social media posts or something like that. Not latest, because you know we post anything on social media. Maybe 3 of my social media posts. So let's simplify the UI. Let's get rid of stuff like this, okay? So let's get rid of like quick links and let's get rid of things like this. There are way too many, so simplify. Let's get rid of things like this in the footer. We aren't a business, okay? We aren't a business. Well, I guess we are a business. I do have a lot of things out there for sale, but I'm a human being, okay? First and foremost, we aren't a business. First and foremost, first and foremost, I am a human being. So I want to approach my personal site as a human being. Get rid of the purple. I do like the dark theme. That's also open source partner. So podcasts and newsletters and so on. I want that the way it is on here too. Okay, so let's simplify the UI. Let's get it. We aren't a business. First and foremost, we're human beings. So I want approach. Get rid of personal hub. We don't need that. So I'm just, like this is going to look very different for you as well. Maybe you do. Maybe you like that. Maybe that's how you want it. I don't want it like that. I want it to be really simple. I wanted to just highlight my best stuff, keep track of everything, and just keep it out there. Let's simplify the menu too. This is too much. Keep it simple. Go ahead and fix the visitor-facing UI. Okay, so I'm going to tell it to do that. We're going to wait for it to make those tweaks. It is probably going to do, let's see what happens, okay? I'm going to fast forward a little here. All right, so it looks like it's done making all those tweaks. So visitor-facing refresh, reworked it, and we already reapplied the richer defaults. Okay, that's nice. But let's just restart this. So that's just for me it's Control-C to kill it, and then just rerun it. So localhost 3000, okay. And the old one looked okay. This is actually dive into my writing. Read my full story. If you want the longer version, I wrote more of my story here. So this is okay. We should just have the email capture here. Okay. So instead of these buttons here, let's just have a slim email capture here. Not the Substack one. Just our own for this site. Okay, that's the first thing. The next thing is, so it's not, it wants me to connect that in the admin panel. That's fine. I'll do that right after. Open source experiment. So it wants me to do that. So it looks like it's showing me at least one of my products here, which is good. And then social media things here. Okay, so places I've been featured. Like I want this to be more compressed. So this section, I think that can be more compressed. Right now, it is the icons are tiny, and the container / padding is huge around it. I feel like they can probably all be in one row. They can probably all be in one row, and use that nice gray scale effect. Be gray initially and change when highlighted. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to fast forward a little while it makes these are very small tweaks. I mean, these are things that I want because it's my personal site, and yours will look totally different. You'll want your own changes. I highly recommend you ask for your own changes, but this is really nice. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get with these small tweaks. Okay, so it looks like it's done. Let's see. Let's start it, and let's see where we're at. This is what we had. Okay. Whoa. It looks like it's pulling in some stuff here, and I like what it did here with this. This is definitely much nicer in one row. It does feel like this is like a little off center, which maybe is fine. I don't even know what it looks like on mobile. It's not terrible. But we can continue to optimize that. So I do like this here now. So let's see what happens if I join. Thanks, check your inbox. Check your inbox soon. I like that. The latest newsletter here. See all the issues. So it is like pulling in because I gave it in the dashboard panel here. It looks like it's got like a bunch of settings that it's set up. The settings, it's my YouTube channel, I set the model to GPT-5 here, my newsletter. There's nothing secret here. But if I hit fetch YouTube, so network error when I hit fetch YouTube. So let's tell it about that. It looks like when I hit fetch YouTube, I am confident my API key for incorrect API key for OpenAI. That can't be. Confident my API key for OpenAI is correct. The model I want to be using, let's see, the name is GPT-5. Am I doing doing something wrong. The name is GPT-5. So let's fetch GitHub. Network error. Also when fetching GitHub. So network errors all around. But it did get like one newsletter, and it is pulling some of my open source experiments here. And this isn't like bad, okay? This is not bad. This is I'm actually, as the kids say, low key, kind of pretty happy with this. I mean, it's just like, if we can actually get it to work. We have this entire backend here now. So let's see what's going on here. Did I tell it about all that? So I did say, but I don't know what's going wrong there. Invalid request error, invalid API key 401. So at least it's like hiding the API key, which is good. But oh, look at that. So it is pulling everything. So I get to decide. So I want this. I want to set this. Okay. I want to set what's this? What's on this? There's nothing there. Okay. So that's not it. I want to set this, the movie watch list app. That's a nice one. I made a YouTube video on that. A small bot can be set as well. Actually, let's see. Do I have something better? There is Walk Right. This is a good one. That's like a full open source web app that I built. So let's see. So if I go back here now and I refresh, and let's see what my GitHub looks like. So the movie watch list, the free write, and the walk right. So these are awesome. I mean, this looks good. Like the fact that it just pulled all of that in, and I could just set that up. Let's see here. So that's good. So let's see what else. This is GitHub. So if I go to my YouTube, so I can manually add these. That's really nice. And so I don't like the description. The description is like huge on the YouTube, but that's fine. We can get that fixed. So Substack. Let's see. It should be fixing. It should be fixing the fetches. So let's see what happens, okay? So if this works, that's going to be really good. So that means that, the integrations with YouTube, Substack, and GitHub are working, and we can just pull that stuff in and have it automatically flow through, basically. I mean, I'm setting like which ones I want to feature, but there's no reason for that. I could just as easily say, get the latest one and just use that all the time as the front one. And so I can do that after, but for now, I just kind of want to make sure that it's all working and it's all showing up here. Let's see where we're at with this. So it's making some more changes, basically fixing that integration with Substack, YouTube, and GitHub for me. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit on this. All right, so it looks like it worked. I mean, it just made all those changes, and it fetched 20 items from Substack. So that's really nice. So if I go to content here and I go to my Substack, I should be able to feature. So I want to feature this article. This is a recent one. I want to feature that one, and maybe this one. Okay, so these are very recent articles. Very nice. So instead of like some hard-coded thing, which is what so if I go to my current website, the one that's out there on the internet right now, it's got these hard-coded. These are like from, I don't know, like a couple of years ago, like over a year ago. So it's really nice to be able to just set it to some later ones and just kind of hit a button and just have everything show up in here is really cool. And so what is it saying? Back when I was young, I like it. I think it just gives like a little bit of a preview, real talk on AI. So that's not the one I set. Why is it giving me real talk? Let's see. Did I accidentally set that? Become bronze. It looks like it's, so hide that. Okay. Let's see. Is that right? Yes. Okay, good. All right. That's fine. So it looks like it will try to take the top ones. So the descriptions here are horrendous. So we need these descriptions to be super concise. So recent videos sucks. So let's say this, okay? We want it to follow like a similar pattern. Recent videos, the descriptions are terrible. They are super long. We don't want that, okay? What we want is actually for the YouTube videos to follow a similar pattern to the newsletter, except the image is on the left, and then the title, description on the right, and they are like a list. Okay, so these are like just preferences. I'm just nitpicking. I'm just being annoying. But the fact that I'm vibe coding this, I mean, it would take me a long time to figure out all this sort of, I like that it's got my email there. I don't mind that at all. It makes this whole thing like super personal. It's like my home on the internet. And you know, it might not like seem like much, but man, this is pretty damn cool. And look, it's already got like subscribers are showing up here. So when I leave an email, they're showing up. But I don't like that we don't have the analytics. So I will have to ask it to fix the analytics as well. The analytics, click tracking, that stuff does not seem to be showing at all. Is the first party analytics set up? Okay, so let's let it fix that as well while we figure this out. So we've got one email here, and we've got the ability to upload CSVs from Substack, Gumroad, Stripe. That's awesome. So I'll be able to just centralize all my emails and even send out a blast right from here. This is gonna be cool, okay? Because something like this from ConvertKit or whoever will cost you hundreds of dollars, especially if you have a few thousand emails like I do. And the fact that I could set up giveaways, that's also super interesting because I've got older products out there that I could totally give away, or I have given away in different places, but it'd be nice to just give it away on my own site. So I like all of this. And so let's see what it's doing. So it says that it is, let's see, it says that it fixed something with the YouTube. Okay, so this is nice now. So we've got our top 3 videos here, our most recent videos, one open source experiments, open source projects. So change that to open source projects and follow a similar pattern for that as well. Like the YouTube, like the newsletter actually, like the newsletter. And let's have the LLM read the README file and create a nice description. Nice, very short. Okay, so we're gonna tell the LLM to go to this project. Okay, so this project on GitHub has like a very nice README file. It does not have a description up here. Okay, so that doesn't matter. Like the LLM should be able to read this and figure out what this is about and put a nice little description. That's what I want. I want this to be really easy. So let's see where we end up. So, but I'm already like super happy with this. Like if we can get the click tracking to work, and if we can get the, which I'm pretty sure we're going to get it to work. We're going to get everything to work. If we can get my apps up here as well, that's going to be really nice. So let's see where we're at. Let's give it a second. I'm going to fast forward a little here. All right. So the next step here is, it looks like we have our YouTube set up properly. We have our newsletter set up properly. We're not really pulling up. Well, let's see. Maybe I do need to restart this. So that could be the issue. No, under open source projects, we want, so under open source projects, we want the summary to show up, not the description from GitHub. Make sure the prompt takes that into account and shows summary in a short, concise manner. And let's also cut it off after a certain point if we have to. We don't want to flood the index page. It's making some small mistakes now because this conversation is getting really long, but I will probably restart the conversation at this point, okay? Because I do want to wrap up all these changes, and I don't want the mistakes. But this is really good so far, and so it's got my apps here really nicely. I do want to make some tweaks to that as well. So for where we show my apps, I would like to also run that through the LLM summary and summarize what the app is about. We can tell OpenAI to visit that site and pull up the landing page and figure out what it is. And we should also And we should also use the OG image. This is the social image. Most of my sites have that, the OG image on the left, the same way we do for the YouTube stuff for the apps when we add them manually to the backend. Okay, so I am giving it some more instructions here, so I'm going to go ahead and refresh. So let's restart this and refresh this, and it is still not. Maybe the summary's not good. I mean, I don't know, but we can get that fixed. I do like what it did with the YouTube, and I do really like this site so far. It is actually way better than what I have for a number of reasons. I mean, number one, it has this entire backend here. So I'm going to go ahead and add some. So the content that it did. So this is GitHub. These are all my GitHub repos here. But I'm going to go ahead and go to products. So I don't really have. This is some random product here. I could add some of my sort of Gumroad. So if I go to Gumroad bot side, I could just pull up some of my Gumroad. So I have this sort of product that has done well on Gumroad. So if I add this product, source URL, image URL, what if I just say copy image? Oops. Let's just use the Gumroad copy image address. Tags engineering. Let's just copy the title. So this product has done well for me in the past. And let's just use this. This is kind of long actually, but visible feature, create this item. So did I create this item? Yes, I did. So if I go here now and I refresh this, I should see it. I see Duns cards. I don't see that other product, but that's okay. So let's see where we're at with this. Let's restart this. And Duns cards is not pulling up the OG image. That's okay because I think Duns card was probably set up before. So let's go here. Let's actually delete it, okay? And let's add Duns cards. So it was probably set up before I told it about. So this is a game I made. In case you don't know, it's a really cool game. You should check it out. So it's dunscards.com, and it is like super nice. But I'm gonna add that to my featured products because like I have all these things that that I never tags game and a roguelike deck builder. So I'm not gonna add an image URL. I'm gonna just say, I don't know, it should just do it, right? That's what, let's say re-summarize, I don't know. And yes, it did it. It pulled up the image by itself. Amazing, incredible, very nice. Okay, let's add a couple more. So if I add, this is another one that I built. It's like an arcade Sudoku. So let's just say a game, an arcade style Sudoku game. So create, okay, fresh, and let's, maybe it already something. Look at that, it's doing it. It's doing it. It's doing it. It's pulling up everything. This looks perfect. I'm actually super happy. This is going a little bit over an hour, but this is a complex app, man. There's so many integrations in here that it makes me happy that it's all just working on the back end. And I'm sure, like, literally, there's so many features. It's too many to show in 1 hour. But the app is built. It's there. The thing that we're missing is visitors. We are seeing visitors. And, oh, okay, so we do see direct 15 times. So it is pulling up the analytics as well. So that's super nice. So the analytics is showing up now, and it's not perfect, but it is tracking all of the clicks, just like a link in bio thing would. So if I click that, I should be like seeing things. I will ask it to track the link outs as well. So that'll be like an extra feature I will ask for afterwards. Let's just add like one more app just because I can't resist. Let's go to app, and then let's add another one, and let's do my lightweight analytics app. So this is my analytics app that I use for pretty much everything. So all my projects, lightweight. And because I was sick and tired of paying for Fathom, and it wasn't even accurate. And so I said, so I'll tag this as SaaS, and I'll just copy that description, but it should just pull on its own. And so let's see if it does it. And it does. I love it. I absolutely love this. This is really good. And I'm sure if I paste in some social media links here, it will pull those in as well. But I don't want to stretch this while I'm setting up. I'm a little disappointed that GitHub stuff is not showing up on there, but that's not a huge deal. We can fix that. I do love that, again, 17 clicks here, from the main site. It looks really good. Just like everything about it is nice. So this is a pretty nice home on the internet so far. It's way better than what I had. And it's like custom to me. It's better than Ghost in every way because this is literally what I want. And Ghost couldn't give me this. And I don't want to be publishing articles on my personal site. I publish them on social media because there's people there, there's algorithms there. And I just want to link out to them and I want people to discover them when they click on my link in various social platforms. And this will work perfectly for that. But now we got to get to the next step of this, which is basically getting this deployed. So to get this deployed, we will start a new conversation with Codex because this conversation is super long. Unlike Claude Code, Codex will not tell us when it's compacting. It will not give us clues as to how far along we are, but it will get dumber as you go along. And so I really think OpenAI is doing us like a disservice by not telling us that stuff. We are building, so this is a new conversation now. We are building a personal website, my home on the internet. I want to open source this. And so I would like to get this into a Git repo and I can publish it to GitHub myself. But I do need you to make sure my .environment file and secrets are not exposed. So go through that and make sure you exclude that before initializing. Okay, so this is a very simple request. I'm just asking it to initialize the repo and it's going to do a really good job and it's going to figure out that it's got to ignore the environment file. The example file is fine. It'll probably keep that. I do want this to be, so we want this to be on GitHub so that we can get it deployed. So in order to get this deployed, it has to be pulled down from the VPS that we're going to run. The very first step is to get it onto Git. I'm getting it onto Git. I'm going to get it onto Git as a public repo because I'm going to just open source this and it's going to be a link. You could look at the code yourself. Hopefully you'll create your own, right? The whole point of this video is for you to have your own home on the internet, your own custom home that is, I spent a lot of time customizing it. I probably should have sped this up. We're already an hour into this, like an hour, 10 minutes into this video, but I really enjoyed this because I'm building something for myself. So I do want to show you how to get this deployed and how to get it wired up to a domain name so you could have your own .com on the internet. So we're going to do that right now. So it looks like it created the initial repo with the initial commit. So Visual Studio Code has this really nice source control tab here that we can use. I got the initial commit from Codex. And so it looks like it's also going to remove some files. Was it changing? So it looks like it's also going to remove the database files. The database files are fine, I feel, because there's no secrets in there. They do like point to my personal YouTube and stuff like that. So it'd be nice if that wasn't there. And the other thing is you could literally skip everything and just say, download Louis' version and then just make this your own. Just customize it with your own settings and all that. So anyway, this is already committed. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this branch. I'm going to actually make it I don't want to name it that, personal site v2 Codex. Actually, that's not bad. Who cares? Public repo. Okay, so let's see what happens. So if I open this up on GitHub, hopefully this is a public GitHub. Hopefully my environment file is not there. We have an example file, and this example file does not, in fact, have any of my secrets. So that's amazing. So you'll use your own. If you do decide to use this, it does spell out some very simple things on how to run it. This is perfect. Perfection. The next step is to actually get this deployed now. So I will go to Hetzner I will set up a $5 VPS just to get this deployed. So let's go to, all right, team. So now we've got to actually get this personal site, personal home on the internet, actually live on the internet. And we are going to do that basically using something called a VPS, a virtual private server. So basically a server, something that we fully own and fully control. And look, this can seem really scary. I know a lot of software engineers who refuse to touch a server and would rather use the public cloud like AWS or something more abstracted. I don't know, Azure or vZero, Versal or whatever. But all of those things, I promise you, I want the best for you. All of those things are a waste of money, okay? They are just going to rip you off because now it is incredibly easy, thanks to Cloud Code, Cloudflare, to actually run your own server. And it is going to be incredibly secure because you will never actually be exposing that server to the internet. You will install a tunnel through Cloudflare that will expose that server to the internet. So it'll be very hard to hack that server unless there's negligence or something of that nature. So this is going to be worth doing, okay? There is if you ask other people, they're not going to tell you what I'm telling you. A lot of them are going to say, oh, this is foolish. Louis is just an engineer. I'm not just an engineer. I used to manage engineers. I've thought a lot about this. I've wasted a lot of money. Okay, that's why I waste a lot of money on Azure and stuff like that. So that's why I firmly believe this is going to be good for you. So anyway, we are going to get this deployed now, okay? And you might tell that last night I got tired, so I had a lot of fun building this app. I got tired and I couldn't do the deployment last night. I had to go to sleep. But I'm back on. And we are going to do the deployment right now, and hopefully it won't take us too long because I think the steps are fairly straightforward. So we're going to use something called Hetzner. I'm a big believer in these European hosting services. Now, Hetzner is they just sell you the server. They don't try to sell you like all this extra stuff like a Replit or whatever. That does mean that it is slightly more complicated, but I'm going to show you how to get it set up so it's not that complicated. So we could just use Cloud Code to help us on this server. There are others. I mean, you could use DigitalOcean, and basically like anybody that's willing to rent you a server that is sitting in a data center somewhere and has a fast internet connection will work for this. But I like Hetzner. I think it's very good. They're bringing more data centers to the US and they are very cheap. You could get a 2-core machine basically for $5 a month, and you could get a lot more than that. I have like a 40 core for like 30 or $40 a month, and that's pretty insane. That's better than the hardware I have at home for like $30 a month. So anyway, we are gonna make an account here. So you come to this website, hetzner.com, you create an account, and once you do that, you'll see a login, and you'll eventually get to something like this, which is their console, okay? And in here is where we will create, you'll see your cloud, and in here is where we will create, I've already got a server out there. We're gonna create a brand new one, and we're gonna get it all set up with this new web app. So in here is where you will create your server. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna create resource, and you're gonna hit server, okay? And depending on where you are, pick the data center that's closest to you. That's my recommendation. This doesn't matter as much because Cloudflare is going to sit on top of this, right? And because our web apps are mostly going to have static assets and things like that and a backend for us to control things, Cloudflare is incredible at caching. So it will cache globally, and your website will be blazing fast regardless of where your data center is here. So this isn't like a huge deal, but I do recommend something close to you. And so that's close to me. And then I'm going to do the shared vCPU because this is the really cheap one. Now you could do dedicated, right? And get, pay a little bit more, and you're going to have your own machine and no one else on it. And that's quite cool. But we'll do the cheap one, $5 a month. This is more than enough. I promise you, like you will, for this to go down, you will need traffic to the tune of millions for the type of web app that I'm building. I promise you that. So, and I've run tests against Hetzner's servers before. The next thing now is, this is very important, this part, okay? We have to create an SSH key. And this is what we will use to log into the server, okay? So this SSH key, this scares a lot of people. It's not very scary at all. It's basically 2 keys. It's basically a public and a private key. And to get this, we will just use Cloud Code, right? So we will use our trusty AI companion. So I will go here, and I've got my command line open, and you should open up your own. We won't do this inside of our repo because we don't want these keys to get committed to GitHub, right? Because then people can log into our server. But we will do it here in a different directory. So I'll make a directory called infra, okay? And then I'll spin up Cloud Code in this infra directory, and I will say, hey, hey, I am creating a server on Hetzner, and I need an SSH key so I can log into it and manage this server. Okay, very simply, I'm asking it to make the SSH keys. So it's going to know what to do, okay? So Cloud Code is very good at this kind of stuff. And you could do this manually. That's actually not a lot of work. It's just like a few words here. But in case you don't have certain software in your machine, Cloud Code will download that. It will set up both the public and the private key. The public key is okay for it to be seen or whatever. The private key you don't want to share with anybody. That's the thing you use to log in. And they match up. They match up. And when they match up, it lets you onto the server. So I'm going to open the folder for me. So I'm going to ask it to open the folder for me, so that way I'm just lazy. I could just find that folder. Let's see. Okay. So we've gotten, it is, so it looks like it put them in SSH, which is interesting. Hetzner key. Okay. So we want the public key, right? So we're going to double click it, take it, and take the whole thing here. And I'll be deleting this entire server afterwards. So I'm just mostly using it as an example, but I will paste it here so that it is now the key that is used to log into this server. So I'm not gonna mess with anything else here. I think I like all of that stuff just fine. The defaults are just fine. I'm gonna hit create and buy. So I am now getting a server. It is being created as we speak. I'm getting an IP assigned to it. This is how we will log into the server. Okay. So if we go back now to Cloud Code, we will say, okay, the server was created at this IP. Now I need you to log me in. And it knows how to log you in because it has the file there, right? So once you give it the IP, it's going to log you in as root onto that server. So now this is really cool. So it looks like there is some key issue here. No big deal. It looks like it connected to the Ubuntu. Perfect. Successfully connected to Hetzner service running on Ubuntu. Actually, I don't want Cloud Code to be the one connecting to it. I want to be the one connecting to it. So I'm gonna kill Cloud Code now. Okay, so it's perfect that it's working and all that, and it is giving me the command that I need. Perfect. So that to connect to that server. So here we go. You should get a similar command, SSHI, and with your Hetzner key, and you should be able to log in. Now you will see something like this. This means that basically we are connected to this machine in Ashburn, Virginia. So I am the admin on this machine. I am logged in via SSH, and I have full control over this machine. The very first thing we're going to do on this machine is we are going to get Cloud Code installed. Okay. To get Cloud Code installed, we will need npm probably. But let's take a look real quick. Let's go to Cloud Code, not Max. I just want Cloud Code. So if I take this command and I run it, very likely it's going to fail. I have not, one second here. I've not done this in a long time because I don't need to do it regularly. So it looks like it's telling us that it can't run that because we don't have npm. So to install npm, it says run that. Okay. It looks like building package is done, rebuilding a dependency tree, reading data information done, unable to locate package npm. So it is unable to install npm. So we need to get npm. How do I get, so let's just Google it. How do I get npm onto a new server? Okay, let's just get it. Sudo apt-get. So first we'll run this update, and then to make sure everything's up to date, which is perfect, and then Node.js npm for Debian and Ubuntu. That's what we have on this machine. So very easy. Just a quick Google search on how to get that installed. Okay. And it's doing a whole bunch on this machine, but that's good. That means that Node is getting installed. That's the software that runs Cloud Code. It needs to be on the machine, and we just found it with a quick Google search. The next thing, we'll copy this again, and we'll bring it back. We'll bring it back in. And once this is done, of course. So this is doing a whole lot of installing on this poor machine. But this machine is going to be a nice workhorse for us because we'll be able to run on this 2-core machine. We could run maybe multiple, this $5 machine, we could run multiple web apps like this, especially if they don't have a lot of traffic. Again, Cloudflare will sit on top of this, and it will cache like crazy. So our sites will probably still be very fast. So if we're running apps that use a lot of compute, then this $5 VPS might slow down. That means if they're doing fancy things, so if you have games, if you have things of that nature that use the CPU a lot, you might get throttled on that. But generally speaking, most of these web apps are quite simple, email capture, things like that, like our personal app. So this should not be an issue. So now we've actually installed Claude Code. So I just pasted that command in, npm install Claude Code, just like they recommend. So we're going to get our friend Claude running in here. Once we have Claude in here, we can just do everything, okay? So we will let Claude drive this computer. We don't need to know how anything works. We're just, we should learn how things work, okay? But for you as a beginner, this is a really good starting point. It gives you access to things that were impossible for you to do before. So I hit dark mode. I hit the login stuff, right? So opening browser. So it can't open a browser because it is obviously living in a terminal, but that's not a big deal because I can just pull it in that way, get the code, login successful, and we are on. We are off to the races. Claude Code is installed. The Claude Code that we're running right here is on this Ubuntu server. It is not on my local machine. It is going to drive this thing now. So the very first thing we want to tell it, so remember, if we go back to our steps here, so create the Hetzner, install Node, install Claude Code. We do want to get a domain name on Cloudflare. If we go to cloudflare.com, so I've got a bunch of domains here. You could buy a domain. They're actually very cheap. Personal site example.com, for example. This is available. It costs $10. And when you buy this on Cloudflare, so you don't have to transfer it. You don't have to do anything crazy. If you have your domain somewhere else, like your personal website domain somewhere else, you should transfer it to Cloudflare and just let Cloudflare manage it, because it is I cannot rave enough about them, and they're not paying me. I promise you, they're saving me thousands of dollars by using them for everything. So they're well worth it. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy this, okay? And I will fast forward a little bit, because once I purchase, my credit card details and my address will come up. So I'll fast forward a little. All right, so I've got the domain now, right? And we will ask Claude Code to clone the repo, okay? So we should have put this on the internet, this on GitHub. Earlier tonight, we actually did that. So this is my personal home on the internet, the web app, the open source. You could use the same website if you want and just ask Claude Code to change all of the branding. So it's not, obviously your name is not Louis Bocage. In terms of functionality, you could use the same if you want. But my recommendation is obviously to build it from scratch. That way you could be totally custom to you. So let's tell Claude Code, go ahead and pull down this repo and get it ready to run, because we will be hosting this on this server via Cloudflared. It's very important you put that D in, because that's the tool. Okay, Cloudflare is the company, Cloudflare is the tool, and via Cloudflare. And so let me close this up because we don't need that anymore. And we do want to set up the tunnel as well, and tell Claude Code how to do that. But first, let's just via Cloudflare. I will give you the Cloudflare tunnel token and so on. But for now, just pull down the web app. Okay, so I'm going to let Claude work on that. And while I go back now to Cloudflare and I get myself set up. So I have the domain. The domain's here, examplepersonalsite.com. That's what I'll be using for this video. I will keep that site up. That way it's a companion site to the video and all that. But we will want to go to Zero Trust. So in your you hit top left here, Cloudflare, and then you hit Zero Trust. Okay, Zero Trust, this is important. This is where we are going to set up the tunnel. Okay, this tunnel is really powerful. It is going to allow us to never expose this server to the internet, keep it super secure, and basically not worry about hackers getting into it. Unless, of course, you accidentally share your private key somewhere, that you got to keep that file secure. So I'm letting Claude Code work there. And then what we did real quick, again, just to make sure I'm being thorough. So I hit Cloudflare here, I go to Zero Trust, and then from Zero Trust, I go under networks, and there is something called tunnels. Okay. So I hit tunnels. I've already got a couple of tunnels here, and I'm actually going to delete one. I did one as an example earlier and it worked well. So delete that one. I don't need that. You might be asked to subscribe to something here, because Zero Trust is a product by Cloudflare, but the thing is, it's free. So you'll subscribe to something for free, and you'll have 50. You can use the free version basically that gives you up to 50 tunnels or whatever, and that's what you're going to use. Okay, and so just follow the prompts for that, and make sure you can hit networks and then tunnels, and then you'll hit create tunnel. Okay, and then when you hit create tunnel, obviously we're going to use our tool, the Cloudflare. Okay, this is cool. This is going to set up our web app to be on the orange cloud, the Cloudflare tunnel. So I'm going to name this example personal site, okay, .com. Okay, let's just keep it really simple. I'm going to hit save tunnel. You obviously name it your own name. don't use mine. But I'm sure you can figure that out. So really quick. So now I've got this is the token we were talking about. So we are going to tell I'll actually take this version, and because it doesn't matter. Claude will figure it out. So we'll use the top one. So it is getting the web app set up, and it's struggling with the environment variables because obviously those environment variables aren't set up on the server. So on my local machine, when I go to this website, I have these API keys, OpenAI API keys, and the Mailgun and all these things. I have them set up locally. So I will be bringing them over. So after, I will tell Claude Code use these API keys. These are just placeholders here that it's just trying to get the web app up and running, and it's just setting up. It's just setting up, and that's totally fine. We'll let it do that with the placeholder API keys. And so going back here, we're going to have to give this to Claude so that it could install Cloudflare. But first, it's just making sure that our web app actually runs on this server. And it looks like it's still got some issues. So it looks like when we installed Node, that command I think that I got from Google actually, oh man, that command I got from Google actually installed Node 18 or something, and the web app that I'm building is Node 20. No big deal, because Claude Code can just fix all of that. Back in the day, stuff like this, a mistake like that will cost you hours. Now it doesn't cost you anything. It just costs a couple of seconds here with Claude Code. So I will let Claude Code do its thing. And I'll actually just start my prompt here. So the next thing we need to do is download Cloudflare and get it set up with my domain on Cloudflare called example. Oops. Just keep going. Called the examplepersonalsite.com. Examplepersonalsite.com. And so the next thing we need to do is download Cloudflare, get it set up with my domain on Cloudflare called examplepersonalsite.com. And let's use a config file to do the setup. I have already set up the tunnel on Cloudflare via Zero Trust. This is the token for you to download it. Please go ahead and get this all wired up and give me what I need for the DNS. Okay, going back to this slide here. So we are here, okay? So we set up the Cloudflare. It was just 2 clicks, right? We went to network, tunnel, set up a new tunnel, and then we told Claude about our domain. We gave it the tunnel token, and we asked it to configure Cloudflare via config file, okay? So that we're almost done. Once we get this wired in, this is a one-time setup. Once we get this wired in, this thing is set up, and we can make updates, changes to this web app, all kinds of things, as many times as we want. So this is, so it looks like it was able to get Cloudflare with that special token, and it is running into some small issues. But no big deal. No big deal, because Claude Code could figure all this stuff out. So I do reading like what it's doing, what it's running into. These would all be things that I would have to do manually in the past that now I don't really have to worry about. It's creating the CloudFlare directory, which is really nice. It's creating the config file, which links up examplepersonalsite.com. That's literally the domain I bought. So not to confuse you, I'm sorry I bought that domain, but I felt like it was a good companion domain for this lesson, for this video, and I decided to use that. But hopefully that does not add to confusion. That is not an example domain. That is literally a domain I bought that I'm going to wire up to the site. It's called examplepersonalsite.com. Okay, so it looks like it's working. I mean, we are getting very far along here. And so the next step is now we're going to let Claude do its thing. It looks like it's finished. So the next step is go to examplepersonalsite.com. You click that, the domain that you bought earlier. Then you hit DNS record, okay? And then you're going to want to make some changes here. The changes is we are going to take, for the @ we're going to take this, okay? So the @ so I'm going to hit edit here, make sure it's a CNAME. We're going to do @ and then I'm going to delete that and then just paste what Claude gave me, okay? So if I hit save, I should have that. Okay, so the first one's done. So the next thing now is we want, wildcard examples. Do we want that as well? Yeah, why not? We do want www as well, so we will add that as well. So I'll hit save here and I'll tell Claude Code to make sure to add that. But let's add another record, which the wildcard, CNAME, paste this in, and it said just do, the name should be star. Okay, so that should give us wildcard examples. Okay, I did the wildcard and the base URL. Can we also do www? Okay, so while it's setting up the www, I already added it here because I know I've done this many times before. But it does need to add that to the config file to make sure that CloudFlare is set up with all of that. Now so we're done. That's it. Pretty much this website is now live on the internet. But before I visit it, I will just do some quick maths, okay? Can you check, before I do that, let me actually give it the environment file. So this would be where, I'm going to fast forward through this part because I don't want you to see my secrets, my API secrets, but this would be where you take whatever integrations you did for your personal home on the internet and you would give it to Claude Code. You would say, let's get these set up. Let me set that up real quick and then we will make sure that everything's running. All right, so I've given Claude the tokens. And it is telling me that it's got everything set up. Again, I'm going to blow this server away, so it's not a huge deal even if you saw those secrets, but I'm going to use this later for another demo, a live demo. And so I want to try and keep those at least good enough for half a day here. And so what I did next is I just said, can you double check that everything's running once I gave it all that, and make sure that basically the web app is always running on this server and always wired up to the CloudFlare. And it's just doing some checks. It's creating a systemd out of this service that will basically always be running. And that's just the last step, just to make sure that we don't need Claude Code to run it anymore. It is double checking that it's all set up as a service. And yeah, so the very last step is just to say, make sure this is running as a service on this server, that it's always on, and Claude Code knows what to do. There's nothing more than that. And I'm just waiting here, and I think we're done. So everything has been set up. If I go now to examplepersonalsite.com, there it is. There it is. Our $5 server is now running my personal website here on the internet. Now, of course, this doesn't have any of the integrations. To get the integrations, to get all of that in, I will have to go to the admin section of the site. So if I go to admin here, I need my token. So if you saw, it spilled out the token out it spilled it out here somewhere. Test dev token. Okay. Again, this will change later, but this is a perfect start. Okay. This is a good start. So what are we missing here? So we're missing a whole bunch of stuff. We want to connect. So let's go down and see. Let's find my Substack. Let's do that first. So let's go to my Substack. Whoops, I didn't mean to go to this. Let's go to this, okay? So my Substack and the Substack feed. So let's go back to here and see what it was. Is this not running anymore? Oh no. Let's run it. So this is from earlier, right? We want to just copy this stuff over from dev. And so it looks like in order to get the Substack, this is not right anyway, but it doesn't matter. That's okay. To get the Substack, we do want /feed. Okay, so let's see what happens. So I hit save here. It wants site title. Oh, okay. All right. So it wants me to fill out all of the settings. All of that should have probably been filled out by the JavaScript, the C JavaScript, but I'll just copy and paste it over because it's easier than messing with code now. And I want to make sure that it's all working. And since I have this on my local dev version that we work pretty hard on, hopefully this will all just work. Let's see. So I'm literally just copying everything over. And let's see. Social links. So it's got all this stuff here. And it did a hell of a job gluing all this together, making it all configurable like this, giving us like full newsletter embed. Okay, that's perfect. So it does know about that. It does know about some of these things. We will be using, my GitHub is perfect. So that's nice. YouTube channel ID. This is the YouTube channel ID. Okay. So I've already got the newsletter. The model I want to use here is GPT-5. I don't want to use GPT-5. I don't want to use 4.1. That's just an older thing. Mailgun. Yes, we could use my personal domain, although this is not the domain anymore. This is the demo site up here. But that's all right. We'll just do it. We'll just do it that way. And again, you don't even have to use Mailgun. You could use SendGrid. You could ask Claude Code to use whatever service. Hero CTA, what's that? Read the latest. Okay. Save changes. Okay. So the settings were saved. Let's just now go to example personalsite.com, and you could see that it filled in a whole bunch of stuff here. Okay. So it's doing a pretty good job. All right. So we're almost there. So if I go to the about page, I don't really like the look and feel of the about page. That's all right. We can fix that after. But going back here, I do now want to see if our integrations work. So fetch Substack. So fetching Substack. Let's see what we get. If this all worked, I should have a few Substack, and it is going to try to summarize those via ChatGPT. So that might actually take a second, but I would still expect this to work. I should have probably done GitHub first because my Substack has a lot of words in it. Still though, it should work. Let's see. So going back here, oh, we've already got a bunch of newsletters already fully integrated. So it's pulling those in. So that means it's working. The web app is working. So we've got 20, it pulled in 20 of these summaries. So if I fetch GitHub now, and again, I could have these fetches running regularly, daily or whatever. And so my site could always be up to date with what I'm doing around the internet. And that's what I'm going for. That's what I want. So you see now I've got 3 GitHub projects here it's pulling them from my GitHub. Let's do the YouTube as well, right? If I fetch the YouTube, and again, this is all running on this personal site up here. This is cool. And it's running on a $5. And look, my videos are up. Oh my God. Just amazing. Okay. That's it. This is a win. I'm going to stop right here. So let's just summarize real quick what we did, and then we'll end this. So we set up the deploy. Okay. We got this running on a $5 VPS. To get it running on a $5 VPS, we needed to create the VM on Hetzner. You saw me just go through that. We needed to install Node. I copied literally even the wrong version of Node, and it didn't matter because Claude Code is a genius and it just fixed it. It just upgraded itself. And then I got the domain on Cloudflare. If you already own your domain, you're going to want to transfer it to Cloudflare. You could ask Claude how to do that. You could ask Codex CLI how to do that. And then you ask Claude Code to clone the repo. So you will be pushing your repo up to GitHub, and you will ask Claude Code to clone that repo and bring it down. And then you will go and set up zero trust on Cloudflare. Okay, this is the tunnel. This is so you don't need special certificates or open special ports or anything crazy. You just basically need to get this set up once, and then you could run even multiple web apps on the same server through that same tunnel. Okay. So right now we only have one web app on this server, but I could deploy more, and I will deploy more. I'm going to kill this server right after. In a $5 server, you could actually run a few different web apps, and that's really cool. tell Claude Code your domain. So I told it that example domain. I gave it the token to download the Cloudflare tool. I asked it to configure Cloudflare via a config file, right? So it knows what that means. And then I got the Cloudflare DNS. I set that up, and I did have one extra step here, which is I told Claude to make sure that this is running as a service and it's always on. Okay, you could, if you don't do that step, what's going to happen is when the server restarts, your web app won't restart, stuff like that. It's very rare for a server to restart, but just so you understand what that means, if you don't get that last 7th step, I'll get it added to my slides here. But overall, I'm really happy with what we were able to build. And anyway, I hope you enjoy being able to build your own sort of base on the internet. And your own. So real quick, I'm actually gonna just add, I can't leave good enough alone. I'm actually gonna add a couple of my apps as well here. So you mentioned Duns Cards earlier. So if I go here and just get the URL and I paste that in, image URL, I will leave that empty, a roguelike deck builder game. So I'll tag it as game, create item. And if that shows up, we are golden. Like basically every single integration is working with this web app, and that would be pretty damn cool. There it is, Duns Cards. It's pulling the image by itself. It is also pulling the description by itself. And this is cool. And I could obviously get my social media stuff here as well, and I will get maybe some of my tweets up there. But this is it. This is the whole web app. We've gotten multiple integration points. We have the ability to send emails. If I leave my email here, I'll just test it just to make sure. And if I go to emails, at the email, I've got one email here. I'm capturing emails. I'm doing all of this for the price of $5 of whatever the subscription is to have the AI build this, plus $5 a month, and it's pretty incredible. So I hope you enjoyed this. It went on way longer than I wanted, but I think it's going to be useful, and I think it's a fun thing for you as well to get your own analytics, to control everything, control your entire fate on the internet. You can now do it very easily with these AI tools, and it'll be a good learning lesson for you, low stakes learning lesson to learn how to get things deployed, to understand, get more familiar with this simple but powerful tech stack that we've been using, that AI is really good at. And anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you next time.